What's going on, guys? I want to talk to you guys today about one of the biggest mistakes that I have done in my entire life. And you know what? We will find out because we don't actually quite know yet, but as of the way it's looking right now, it might end up being one of the biggest mistakes I ever did. I was talking to somebody earlier today and talking about where my business is at, how much money I injected in it, how much money was lost over the last year and a half. And thinking back right now and just looking at the numbers over the last 15 months, and this is not the first time I hear this from somebody telling me this. The way they respond most of the time is they're kind of perplexed, they're kind of confused, they're kind of like, why in the world would you do something like that? Those are not their exact words, but they're kind of confused because they're like, why would he do something like that? Like, they're trying to understand my logic behind it, the vision, like, why would I do something like that? I have reasons, obviously, right? I wasn't just crazy and stupid to go out and spend over $1 million and literally blow through $1 million, like literally gone, like spent, right? This wasn't on like random things. This wasn't on lavish or like just nothing like that. It was literally in the business. Thinking back to it today, it's like, sounds kind of crazy. Like, how could I have done things differently? Could I have still be in the same position that I am today and spent a lot less money? And thinking back to it, 100%, I could have done things differently. There are infinite ways to do things. There are infinite ways to think about things. There are infinite ways to dissolve and compute and figure things out, right? The same thing with building a business. Just like that saying, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I think that's one of the dumbest analogies or sayings that I've ever heard, but I guess it applies into this, right? There's a million ways to skin a cat. And so the same thing with business. There's a million ways that I could have done things differently. One of the things here though was that when I chose to take this risk, because I knew it was a risk and I knew what I was putting myself in, I made the calculations, I projected what could happen, what was my worst potential outcome, and what was the best possible outcome, right? So I knew that I could be here where I'm at currently in terms of finances, in terms of cash flow, in terms of liquidity. I was very aware that this could happen, but I also was aware on the complete opposite spectrum. Like, it would have been pretty exponential. It still can be pretty exponential. And so this person was asking me, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I've had this conversation with a few people already, and I explained this to them already because the conversation comes up right now, right? Sometimes they're like my friend, and then like they check in like where I'm doing, so the conversation will come up randomly. I could have for sure done things differently. There's no doubt about the fact that I could have done things differently, but here's the thing. We would never get things perfect. As an entrepreneur and as a human being, you would never get anything 100% perfect, no matter what you do, how you do it, where you're going about it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Entrepreneur, non-entrepreneur, athlete, non-athlete, parent, non-parent. Like, you guys have heard the saying before, like, there's no perfect parent. We can learn everything we can from our family, from our ancestors, from books, from our ancestors. Maybe not ancestors, right? But you guys get the point. It's the exact same logic. Like, I could have probably done it better if maybe I asked a lot more people. If I could have spent some more time thinking about it, right? But at the end of the day, these are the results. This is where it's at. I lost over $1 million, easily over $1 million. I wouldn't say the exact number, but it was a lot of money in the last year and a half. And at the same time, it was a probability play. It's just like what I've done with everything in my life. And so again, before I even go into probabilities, before I even go into risk taking and why I take risk and all that, I'm going to share that in a completely different video. But again, this video, how could I have done things differently, right? Thinking about it back now, lost over $1 million. Could I have done something completely different? Could my strategy have been completely different to the point where maybe we're still around the same area, but I didn't lose over $1 million? And so part of what I was thinking about today, I was like, yeah, I could have for sure done things very differently and not spent so much money, 1,000%. The first thing that I would have done when I knew the position that we were in, part of it was that there was a lot of scarcity happening for me at that time, where I was like, oh my God, things got to move fast. I got to flip it. I got to do X, Y, Z. I can't afford to lose money. The funny thing is, me trying not to lose money ended up costing me more money. Me trying to save money and making decisions off of scarcity actually ended up costing me more money, right? Because what I should have done is I should have shut the fucking business down. Honestly, like, that's what I should have done. I should have shut the business down. And when I say shut down, I don't mean permanently, right? I should have paused it is really the word that I should say. I should have paused the business. I should have put everybody on leave, maybe kept one person, and cut my expenses by more, right, 50 to 80%. And just probably kept like maybe 2 max 30 people, right? I have a 10 to 12 person team, usually more or less. It kind of ranges back and forth between that, and with a 15 person team, with a 10, I would say that's like my sweet spot based on what I'm currently do, is with about a 12 to 18 person team, you can build $1 million a month company. You for sure can, honestly, even with less people. But with 2 or 3, like, I wouldn't need any more people. And so what ended up happening, right, is by not doing that, I cost myself so much money funny, right? Because if I was already not making the right decisions, I would have been better off pausing the entire thing, putting people on leave, telling them like, hey, I'll let you know when I need you, and like reformat, re-strategize, clean everything up so that we can actually bring the right people in. If I would have done that just for a couple of months, like saving 60 to 80% of our expenses, like that's a lot of money. You add that in multiple months. And then on top of that, let's say when I finally do decide, I say, you know what? This is the right guy. This is the right girl. Right now, we're only going to hire this person. This is the person that's going to make the biggest impact. Then I could add another person, then another person, then another person, to the point where I would end up being in the same position that I'm in right now in terms of spending. But throughout the last 12 months and all the things that happened, we could have probably saved half the money that we lost, right? I would say 30 to 50% of the money that was spent. And I don't want to say lost because there was a lot of learning lessons here. So that is one of the number one things that I'm realizing now. But within that one thing, like there's so many things that you can pick up from this that I want you guys to pick up on from, is that like scarcity just compounds on building more bad decisions. Like you do not want to make choices out of scarcity. You do not want to make choices out of scatteredness. You do not want to make choices when you're not grounded, right? At the same time, financially, if I would have just projected properly and tried to like, I don't want to say I'm a finance wizard, but I have a way with numbers. Like I can really look and know what to do when it comes to numbers. And I'm not special. Like there's a lot of people that can do this, but I'm luckily one of those people who can just look at things and be able to break it down. Like it's pretty basic accounting in my opinion. Regardless, like there's just so many lessons that you can extrapolate from that. It could have completely changed financially where I'm at today versus where I could have been. And who knows, maybe we would have already been further by doing that move instead, right? So it's just crazy to look back at, but at the same time, like, I don't know why I don't regret it. Like some people might think I'm crazy, and I've told this to some of my friends, I'm like, I don't regret it. I do not regret it, because what I know today and where I'm at today would not have happened if that wouldn't have happened. Or maybe it would have, I don't freaking know. What I do know is that I like where I'm at today. I love where I'm at today. I love the way I see things. I love the way I think. I love how grounded I am today. Everything that has transpired over the last 18 months is a perfect reflection, and it's the exact reason why I am where I'm at and why I think and see the way how I see things. All the things that have happened to me. Yeah, that's a big change that I could have made. But again, you can extrapolate so many lessons from that one decision. So many of them. I don't regret it. It's just crazy. Like I just don't. Like it is what it is. Like I will make more money. One of my mentors, he told me, I've known this before, but like when he told me this, like it just really landed. He was like, look, and you guys have probably heard this before, like it takes hundreds of dollars to make thousands. It takes thousands to make tens of thousands. It takes tens of thousands to make hundreds of thousands. It takes hundreds of thousands to make millions. It takes millions to make tens of millions, and on and on and on and on. At the same time, it doesn't just take that to make that. You're gonna make a ton of mistakes to make that money, right? So I'm gonna probably spend and lose very recklessly hundreds of thousands of dollars to make my first million. But you can also minimize that with the right mentorship, with the right coaching. There's so many ways to prevent it, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna make mistakes. You're still going to make mistakes, because at one point or another, you're gonna have to trust yourself and take the leaps. And sometimes when you trust yourself and you take the leaps, you're gonna make mistakes, right? Because if you just depend on somebody to tell you what to do all the time, just because they have the experience, yeah, maybe you'll make less mistakes, but then you'll never end up getting that trust within you. You know, I really want you guys to see that. See that. How can somebody who's lost over $1 million the last 15 months be able to look at this lesson today and be like, I don't care, I don't regret it, and I will do it again because of where I'm at today. But I can also look back and be like, I'd do it differently. Probably. For sure, I'd do it differently. If this happens today again, a year from now, 5 years from now, in a different situation, 1000% gonna do that, because things are different. What else, guys? Like, sometimes it's very valuable to look back in your life and look back at the thing that you're doing and see like why you failed, right? There's a reason why athletes watch film all the time. Look at your mistakes. Look at your mistakes. It's been a wild ride. It's been a roller coaster, and I cannot wait till we're on the other side. And so that is all I got for you guys today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.